Okay, so this is totally not planned, but I blew out a tire today, and of course, the spare doesn't have any air in it. So what's up, guys? Matt with BAAM Ranch. Welcome to the weekly gear review, where I talk about some gear that I think is cool for y'all to have. And today we're talking about the GOOLOO A3 lithium jump starter and tire inflator. Reason I bring this up today is because, well, I had a blowout and my tire was flat. My spare tire had like no air in it. I think it had 11 PSI in it. I'll insert some footage in there about me using this thing to go ahead and inflate that thing. So it did kind of save my butt a little bit today. But anyway, this is the GOOLOO A3. It's, you know, pretty lightweight, compact, comes in a little pouch. But these little lithium jump start machines with the tire inflators are something that is absolutely necessary to keep in every vehicle. This one does a few different things. I mean, they all do. You know, they've got a way to charge your devices on there. You know, they got a little light that, I don't know, I guess that I don't care for the flashing modes and stuff, but it is enough light that you would absolutely be able to kind of see to, you know, get done whatever you're doing. The cords on all of these are really kind of cheap. They just screw in. I haven't really seen one that's a super high quality cord or air hose, I guess, but it works, you know. USB-C rechargeable. It does jump up to 300 amps, I think is what they said. And they claim it can do up to a 6.5 liter diesel. Now then, we're gonna run over to my Power Stroke, my 6.0 Power Stroke diesel here in a minute and see if it'll jump that off. From my experience, these all have basically the same style connectors on here. This one does have different modes of, you know, what you're going to inflate to. Basketballs and stuff, it's ultra low pressure. You know, cars, bicycles normally take a lot more pressure than a car tire. But one thing that's cool about it is it will automatically shut off once you get to the tire pressure that you want. So I set this little donut tire to 40 PSI and I just set it there and let it run. It took it from 11 PSI to 40 PSI, and I think it was like 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 3 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that. But anyway, let's take this over to my pickup and see how well this thing actually jumps off a diesel truck. They claim it's going to jump off a 6.5 liter. I got a 6 liter that's a hard crank anyway, so let's see if this thing will work. I don't know. These diesel engines they're pretty hard to jump. So let's see what happens. And I just dropped that thing on the ground. Get y'all back a little ways so y'all can actually see what's going on here. Just a little tip. See this wire here? You could disconnect it there and touch it to this post right here, and it'll turn the starter over without firing it up. That's what I'm going to do right now. All right, let's connect it. Let me raise you guys up a little bit. Connect your cables, and then there's a button right here that you push. You'll hear the solenoid click. Take your little wire. It's cranking it over. I'm surprised. This battery's totally dead. It looks like you get about 5 seconds to crank out of it. Those wires are getting a little warm, but this thing's not going to start because I'm just hitting this right here. So let's try it again, see what happens. It's turning it over. Let's do it again. It says we're getting a little hot. So let's try it again. It kind of proves the point. Like I said, this thing's not going to start because I'm just using this right here. But it turns it over plenty fine to get the job done. So one thing to keep in mind with these Power Stroke engines, these 6.0s to get the starter to initially turn is 1200 amps, and then 300 amps to keep it turning. The power going into your house is only 200 amp service. So the fact that that'll do that, man, that's pretty good. I have really no doubt that it would go ahead and start this thing. I absolutely know that if it'll turn that over this easy, it'll start a gas engine like it's nothing. Same with generators and four-wheelers and stuff like that. But the main thing that really saved my butt with this thing was being able to air up that tire. Airing up that tire absolutely saved me. Like I said, it had 11 PSI in it, and it took that thing right on up to 40. So yeah, you know, I gotta say, it's definitely a solid recommend from me. I do recommend it, and I think that everybody ought to keep something like this in every vehicle. You know, and no more space than this thing takes up. You know, this fits in the glove box, so there's really no reason to not have one. If you want to buy one of these, I'll post a link below to pick one up in Amazon. If you're worried, if you're wondering, we did not lose any of the battery on here in the process of cranking that thing over. But yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed with it. So, you know, in full disclosure, they did send it to me, but I've got no obligations to anyone about anything. So yeah, y'all go ahead and pick one of these up if you can. And until next time, hey, you guys be safe.